let's talk about how much my service department probably loves me. Yeah, I'm that guy that made a newbie mistake. Or should I just say, I didn't do my research like I should have, and I paid the price. So stick around, I'll let you know what that means. Ugh. Premium. I pushed it. $8.25 if filled up. Beautiful. It would be $80.25 to fill my truck up. Just saying. Love my bike. No receipt. Alright, so whenever I got this bike, now this is the second brand new bike that I've owned, and the first one I cared about it, but at the same time I was like, you know what, anything and everything that needs done to the bike I'm gonna do. And then my next two bikes that follow were both used, and again, I am mechanically inclined. I'm pretty good at maintenance on these bikes, and so I did my own maintenance. I did my own upgrades, bolt stuff on, whatever you want to call it. I can do all that myself. So whenever I bought this bike, the guy that I like to call the Cat Master, the AutoCat guy, he's their head service manager, but either way, he comes out and he's going over the bike with me, and it's just kind of like one of those things where we're loading it up in the back of the truck, and he's talking, and he's telling me, you know, any questions you have? No, I don't have any questions. Anything you want to go over? Nope, nothing I really want to go over. You know, I've already ridden the bike. You know, I'm familiar with a lot of the aspects of it. Researched a little bit of it, so I didn't need to go anything. He's like, all right, so just remember your first service is at 400 miles. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, yep, so bring it in for the first 400. We'll do your first service on it, and then we'll go ahead and then after that, I think it's like every 4,000. So I just took his word for it, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I thought to myself, well, we'll see what happens when it comes. You know, usually I don't worry about stuff like that. I'll change the oil as I need to. I'll do the maintenance, you know, upkeep on everything. You know, keep the chain lubed, all the stuff that you're supposed to do with your bike. And then for some reason I thought, well, yep, okay, so this bike is financed. You actually do really love this bike, and you want to, you know, keep. I wanted to have service records for it. I wanted to be able to. Basically, I just want to keep the machine well maintained. I don't want to do anything half-assed that I didn't have to. So, in my mind, I thought, you know what? Screw it. Since the service intervals are pretty far apart, let me go ahead. I'm going to do the first service. 400 miles, right? Wrong. If you look in your owner's manual for the bike, it will say right in there, very first service is at 600 miles. 400, 600, not a big deal. I ended up not taking mine in until after I got to the 500 mile mark. So I scheduled it up, and then the day of the service, I completely forgot I had an appointment. I spaced out. I had other things on my mind, and I ended up not showing up for the time. And I thought, you know what, screw it. I want to get out on the bike anyways. So I'll just go stop at the dealership. They'll do the first service real quick. I mean, what, it'd probably only take maybe half hour at the most, and then get on my way. And that's exactly what I did. Drove to the dealership, walked in today, and let's do the first service. I'm sorry I'm late. They're like, all right, yeah, no problem. Just hang out here, and we'll get you in, and we'll get it taken care of real fast and get you on the road. Well, that real fast turned into about an hour and 15 minutes I waited. One thing about it, that the service end of the dealership is not exactly fast, because they go over every machine that leaves that place, they go over it fully with the customer, like they should, and like they're probably required to do. So then he finally comes out and he says, all right, hey man, everything's done. Let's go get you settled up at the desk. Okay, so I walk back to the desk and I said, what do I owe you? Dude looks at me and just says, all right, that'll be $200. I laughed in his face. I said, yeah, come on, man. But seriously, what do I owe you? He goes, no, it's $200. And I said, $200? What the fuck did you do that warrants me giving you $200 right now? What did this brand new machine need other than change the oil and maybe just make sure everything was tight, that you guys didn't screw up anything whenever you were putting it together? What is it? And he pulls out this, he looks around, he pulls out this sheet of like, that was written in crayon of 50 different things that they check on service appointments and blah blah blah. And I'm sure that somewhere along the line there's a requirement that says that they're supposed to do all this. And you know what his comeback to me was, well, if you would have bought in the extended service plan, then it would only be $100. Wait a minute, excuse me. So if I would have spent another $900 to $1,000, whatever it costs to buy your extended service plan, you're still going to charge me $100 to get this service done. Like I was in shock at the amount of money that they want to charge you for something that just is asinine. It is absolutely, that's crazy. It is not that warm out to be sitting there with your kids in the river swimming. Anyways, back on point. $200. You wanted me to pay you so you can just look at my bike and say, all right, we'll change the oil. We'll make sure your brake fluid is topped off. We'll look at your chain and measure it to make sure it's fine. We'll pretend to look at a few other things, and then we're gonna charge you an arm and a fucking leg. Listen, I get it. The service department needs to make money. That's how they make money. But lesson learned, for at least on my end, I will not ever be taking my bike back for a service unless I absolutely feel that it's something necessary. I've never been one to keep up with service appointments at dealerships anyways. With my truck, I do not take my truck to get serviced. If it needs oil change, if it needs the brakes changed, the only time I'm taking my truck in to get serviced is if I get called and there's a recall on something that's going to be covered by warranty, and they're replacing a part for safety reasons or whatever the reason may be. Other than that, I do all the work myself. If you are that handy of a person and you agree with my thinking on this, same thing. Dude, be prepared to spend an arm and a freaking leg if you're going to take your bike in for service. I left the dealership that day, and I was gonna start recording, and I was just so pissed off that I thought, you know what, I'm probably gonna say something stupid, or I'm gonna bash these guys, and it's not the service writer's fault, and it's not the company's fault. It's just, I mean, I was probably a little bit of I was dickish. I had dickish tendencies, and probably the way that I was talking to him afterwards, but it wasn't his fault. I mean, he's just there like anybody. He's got a job to do and doing his job, and I don't blame him. But I didn't ask the question. I didn't say beforehand, hey, what does the service on this bike cost? What is it that you guys do this bike? In my mind, I was just like, okay, well, it's service. They're going to change the oil real fast. It's going to be documented that they did this, which then I can say, yes, I have all my service records. Yeah, that sounds great, right? No, absolutely not. I was mad at myself more than anything. Because let's face it, the $200 I could have used towards something else that I want to do on this bike. But that's my lesson learned. So my dealership was probably extremely happy that day because they got to do basically zero work. Nice vet, buddy. They got to do zero work, or not zero work, but they got to do this much work and make this much money. Now granted, if you are somebody that literally can ride a bike but has no idea as far as where to even put the oil, let alone I mean, if you're somebody that just is not mechanically inclined, and you know you have no desire or attention or even maybe the ability to, like, you just don't have. Oh, what up, puppy? Hoggada, 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 hoggada. That's the sound Harley makes. Hoggada, 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 hoggada. Those turnout pipes look like shit. Just saying. Like, just take those tips off, man. Leave them straight pipe. Hi, puppy. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Yeah, if you just don't have the ability or capability to do your own service, or maybe you just don't want to at all, then by all means definitely follow the service plan. There's a reason they have it there. It helps with the longevity of your machine and keeping it running properly. But I mean, if you are mechanically inclined and you don't want to be surprised, maybe you're like me and you thought, oh shit, you know, hey, I'm gonna do my first service ever. I'm gonna do it because I want to keep records of it. Fuck, it's starting to rain. I don't want to get wet. But yeah, if that's the route you want to take, then, but by all means, like, I'm not knocking the service. I'm not knocking the intervals or department. Like I said, I was just more mad at myself that day. I was pissed off because I was blindsided. I thought I was going to spend at most like $100. If you would have told me $100, it's a very nice Corvette. Very nice Corvette. Let's get moving. Please don't rain. Yeah, I mean, if I had walked in there that day and they said, you know, at the end of it said, hey, it's $100. Okay, you know what? $100, I get it. But when they said $200, I was so pissed off that I didn't ask the question beforehand, because let's face it, I wouldn't have done it. So if you're like me and you've never taken your bike in for a service and you're thinking about it, just know, and you didn't buy an extended warranty, it's going to cost you a couple $100 and you're going to feel pissed off afterwards. So learn from me. It's starting to fucking rain. This is the only rain cloud in the sky, and it's like, just, you know, right now I'm being punished for talking bad. The Yamaha gods are punishing me right now for talking bad about their service department. That's what it is. But so I'm gonna go ahead and end this one, guys. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. Lots more videos to come, man. Let me know what you guys think about it. If you have your own service issues that you want to talk about, throw them in the comments below. Let's get it out there and just get a conversation going. But I appreciate it, guys. Yamaha gods are mad at me. They're raining on me right now, but we're gonna keep this going. I'm gonna get out of here and try to get ahead of this rain. So peace. Move over, please.